You're telling me girls are paying $40 to go to a haunted house? Babe, go on a walk alone at night. It's just as scary and free.
If I ever get married, I don't want my parents to walk me down the aisle like they're offering me. Like they're not giving me away. I would also like my future husband to meet me halfway on the aisle. Because it's a partnership, not an ownership. Again, I'm not being offered. I also have a problem with the whole last name thing. I mean, I'm not changing my last name. Why is it that when women get married, it's like they strip her of her identity? I've really had enough of patriarchy because it just makes no sense. Like, imagine when you have a child, you carry that for 9 months and like it out of you, but they get the dad's last name? Make it make sense.
Okay, so I was raised in the church, so I just want to know if this is like trauma, which it probably is, or if it's normal. Does anyone else with good boobs like put on an outfit where they look really cute and feel fine, and then the second that you step in public and people look at you, you want to die?
Guys, videos where women complain about marriage are some of the funniest things you will ever see on the internet, okay? They'll complain about having to take a dude's last name and having to do this and that, and we're just going to pretend as though the divorce courts don't happen. Okay, these girls are literally complaining about taking a dude's last name in a marriage when at any given point during said marriage, women can leave at any time and take your assets and your children with them. Okay, that is some of the most clown world crap I have ever heard, right? Where women will complain about the littlest things, even though there's just, far larger injustices going on towards men that nobody seems to give a crap about, right? In case you haven't noticed, guys, marriage is something that does not favor men. All right, you want to look at relationships in general in 2021, excuse me, and a lot of men are just looking at this going, yeah, no, thank you. Okay, these are the same women that expect to be taken out on dates, and you've got to do this and that for her, but forbid she has to take your last name, right? And the thing about this, guys, is the fact that these women are pretending as though they don't get to choose the man. Right? Women are able to choose their partners, guys. It's not as if it's some difficult thing, okay? If she doesn't want to take a dude's last name, fine. You know what I mean? It's like, why the hell? The funny part about it, guys, is like, if you're with a woman and she doesn't want to take your last name, let me tell you, that is going to be a rough relationship for you, right? And because the thing is, guys, women who like you, they actually want to be there. They'd be happy to take your last name and stuff like that. A lot of these women, truth be told, are just getting into marriages so that they have money down the line and they have an insurance policy, right? They're not attracted to the guy. They're not, they're not in it for life. They're not till death do us part. A lot of these women, truth be told, guys, they don't want to take the last name because they don't want to have the last name because they don't intend to stay in the marriage. They don't care for the guy. I mean, a lot of guys are just out here being used as meal tickets, gentlemen. You look at the divorce rates, they are incredibly high. And it's not as if the men are the ones initiating the divorces statistically, guys. It is the women initiating the divorces. Okay, and they can leave at any time. Like I said, they can take your money, they can take your kids and crap like that. So I have very little empathy when women complain about the fact that, oh, I have to take his last name. When, all of that aside, you even get to choose the man. You know what I mean, guys? It's so crazy to me. And the real funny part about it is like, okay, these women don't want to get married anymore. I mean, neither do men. Like that's fantastic. You don't have to get married. A lot of men are not interested in marriage anymore because they see what the hell is going on out there. They're not interested in committing to people who, you can never really be sure. Guys, I'm going to be posting a video around this particular one. I'm not sure which order we'll do it in, but I mentioned that I saw a TikTok the other day, right, where a man had worked hard his entire life. He'd saved up, he's gotten the house, and they've raised a family together. And she decided to break off the marriage because she doesn't feel that way about him anymore. And you know what, guys? Her feelings will cost the dude everything. The house, the kids, the rest of his assets, probably his sanity. And it's like, okay, we're supposed to just ignore this, but we're going to hyper focus on the fact that, women, there's a tradition for women to take a man's last name. It's absolutely ridiculous. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we're going to be going through some Reddit stories that you gentlemen have sent into the show, as well as talk about some of the TikToks at the beginning. So, guys, if you have stuff to send through, the email is in the description if you're interested. And as always, guys, before we jump in, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, make sure that you subscribe on your way in. And as always, if you are interested in supporting the channel, guys, make sure you check out the locals link in the description. The first month over there is totally free on me with code Fiendish, guys, so make sure you check that out if you are interested. But let's just jump right in to today's first Reddit story, guys. So this one here is posted very recently, and it is titled, Caught My Wife of 46 years old, of 21 years, cheating on me, I am 46, for the third time. I have kids upcoming with birthdays. And let me just preface this by saying, guys, if someone cheats on you for the first time, they're going to do it again. All right, a lot of people are in relationships that they have no business being in, and putting up with crap that they have no business putting up with. So, but with that in mind, let's continue with the story. So last Saturday night, I got evidence that my wife had been cheating on me for at least the last 3 months. She has a relationship, both ways, with a coworker. This is the third time that she has done this, all with people from her work. The last 2 times was the same guy, now is a different one. The first time I forgave her because we were very young. The second time because she was having our child. Yes, it's my child. We had to do it. We had to check together. Now there is no forgiveness. We are getting a divorce. And here's the thing, gentlemen. Here's the really sad part about this. If you're a dude and you go through this particular situation, you're still on the line to lose your crap. Right? And people want to say, oh, do a prenup and stuff like that. Guys, prenups are incredibly flimsy. Women can claim that they sign them under duress, and it's very easy to get them voided by lawyers who know what the hell they're doing, guys. Where quite honestly, a lot of the strategy involved in divorce courts, gentlemen, is women will go into these situations and they'll say, oh, I felt unsafe, or I felt this way and that way, and before you know it, the court's deciding that the kids are better off with the mother because the dad has questionable behaviors that he may or may not have with no actual evidence. Right? It's like guys, we've gotten to the point where, in 2021, where it's a believe all women kind of deal. And I'm talking about in relationships, I'm talking about in just society in general, where, it's expected that you're supposed to take the woman's side for this kind of crap. Because the really sad part about it is this guy, if he has assets, he's still on the line despite her cheating. You see what I'm saying? Let's continue onwards. Here comes the tricky part. My oldest daughter's birthday is next week. Her sister's birthday is December 24th. I told my soon-to-be ex-wife that our marriage was over, but we are going to keep together until Christmas has passed for the sake of the kids. However, I'm incredibly angry, sad, and resentful. I had to leave the house yesterday as I couldn't be in the same space with her. What do I do? Do I keep us together until Christmas is done? I'm thinking first and foremost in my kids, and I want to do them the least damage possible. It's really gross to see, guys, how, these women will literally throw away their entire family, everything that the dude has built for them, their kids and stuff like that, just because they couldn't keep it in their pants. You know what I mean? Like, really think about that, gentlemen. We got women out here who will literally throw away everything that they've built, everything that the dude has built, quite frankly, over the past, 20 years or whatever the case may be of marriage. I mean, we got dudes in 10-year marriages out here, and their girls cheating on them. And the thing is, it's not as though they're just screwing over the guy. They're also screwing over the kids. Right, because the kids end up messed up from these sorts of situations, right? Where like the kids' reality is just kind of shattered. Um, you know, we talk a lot about different relationships and stuff on this show, guys. And one of the things I keep bringing up is the fact that it's not even just the men that are getting screwed over; it's also the children that get screwed over by this. Right? When you incentivize women to leave relationships, leave marriages, and just be able to walk out with a fat wallet as a result of that, I mean, a lot of these women are walking out on marriages eh, and thinking, to hell with the kids. I'm just going to raise the kids as a single mother with the money I get, and I'm going to tell them what a deadbeat their dad is, and kind of go from there, gentlemen. I mean, how many stories have we seen in 2021? Maybe in your own personal life as well, guys. I mean, this stuff is everywhere, where women think that it's a positive thing that they're a single mother, right? Oh, I'm a strong, independent woman because I raised my kid on my own. It's like, do these people not think about the consequences for their kid? Right, of not having a father in the picture, not having a masculine presence in the picture. And again, these are the same women that'll complain about, oh, marriage is oppressive and I don't want to take his last name because it totally sucks and everything. And yet these are the same women that have the power to literally destroy a man's entire life just based off of her feelings. I mean, I really want to hammer that home before we continue with the Reddit, guys. Like, women can do this based off of their feelings, Right? You see what I'm saying? It's just such a messed up place to be in where men are the ones that cop the brunt of this, and we're supposed to act as if everything is okay, and we're supposed to be sympathetic towards them because they don't want to take a dude's last name. It's so ridiculous to me. But we're going to jump back into this Reddit article here and see what some people have to say in the comments. No need to delay the separation for the kids' sake. Just agree on not bad mouthing each other in front of the kids, not getting petty and being civil at family gatherings. What messes kids up is not the separation, but being nasty to each other. Uh, I don't know. I'm not so certain about that, my friend. But let's continue. But don't leave the family home without consulting a lawyer. It can be seen as as abandonment when it comes to custody arrangements further down the line. The original poster should try and create a written parenting agreement before he moves out. The agreement should establish a schedule for both parents to spend time with their children and should state clearly that neither parent is giving up their custody rights. Original poster, and this will not likely change in regards to his anger. You will continue to be angry and hurt, understandably so. The best thing to do is move out and set a new status quo for custody so your kids can start adjusting to it. Kids pick up on resentment and anger and wonder if it's their fault. The best thing for them and you is a home that is neutral and conflict free. Because we all know situations like this, gentlemen, and this goes for dudes who have not necessarily been in marriages as well and don't necessarily have kids, where relationships will end and oftentimes women will turn your friendship groups against you. Right? If you're a dude and you've been dating for any period of time, you know exactly what I'm talking about here when I talk about how women will literally manipulate the end of breakups to make you appear as the bad guy. I've said this countless times on the show by now, gentlemen, where you might think as a guy that the relationship just kind of ended and that's where it was, and you might be shocked by the relationship ending. She knew that the relationship was going to end far before it did. She just kind of kept you there until she was prepared to leave, and then she's going to manipulate the end of the breakup, guys. And this is why a lot of times as well, see, before relationships end, women will kind of lay the groundwork for what's going to happen afterwards. And what I mean by that is they're going to engage with your friends, maybe even your family and stuff like that, and convince them that you're the bad guy. Right? I want you guys to let me know in the comments if you've been in a situation like that, right? Where women will completely screw you over and then you'll get out of the relationship and find that everyone is totally against you. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, guys, is the fact that like people can do this in general, whether or not you're a guy or you're a girl. But let me tell you something: girls are way better at this, way better at this. I bring up manipulation quite often on this show because I think it's important for guys to kind of understand and compare notes about this sort of stuff, gentlemen. I think most men go through such severe levels of manipulation from women and they have no idea what the hell is going on. And that's one of the ways it's shown, right? Is at the end of relationships friends and family will be turned against you. And the reason why I bring that up in context to this Reddit story here is the fact that kids will oftentimes be used as like a go between the parents, where they'll use the kids to go back and forth and have a go at one another. And let me tell you something: it's typically the mothers that take this a bit more insidiously than the fathers. Okay, I've had conversations with people on my Patreon, guys, where I talk to men and whatever issues they may have, and have chats with people. And there was this man I was talking to quite a while ago. I won't name him on the show, but he was telling me, his wife, he felt as though he couldn't tell things to his kids because his wife would use his ex-wife, excuse me, would use his kids as kind of like intel on what he was doing in his life. You know what I mean? Where the kids would be, used as like this kind of manipulation tactic where she would kind of gather, oh, did he do anything bad this weekend, or did he do this, or did he do that? So she had manipulation ammunition to say that he's a bad person down the line because he did this or because he did that. So the dude's like constantly treading on eggshells with his kids, concerned that the kids are going to be weaponized against him. You see what I'm saying? And that's just kind of one way. Oftentimes it's more overt, where the mother will kind of have a go at the father, call him a deadbeat dad and stuff like that. I mean, guys, we see this crap all the time in society, right? Where women will talk trash about the partners that they chose, despite the fact that they were the ones that abandoned him and the kids, oftentimes in the process. But let's continue and read through a few more of these comments. I want to see what these people have to say before we continue on to the next story. So let's have a look at this one. The kids will pick up on your anger and resentment. This will be awful for them. I'd do it sooner rather than later. Do you have an attorney? If not, you need to get one. You should never tell a cheater that you are divorcing before you're ready to serve them. The heads up gives them time to react and retaliate. get your papers in order, and tell the kids in an age-appropriate way that you are divorcing and why. I think this is a really good point here, guys, which is the fact that like a lot of these women, truth be told, will have made preparations, but the thing is, guys, like dudes are oftentimes too willing to share what the hell is going on with their personal life, and they just want to. If women screw them over, a lot of guys I find kind of want to get closure from these women who do awful crap to them, right? So I'll see dudes who have been cheated on, or the dudes who go through these terrible situations, and they want to kind of ask the girl why, and they want to talk about their feelings and stuff like that. Guys, if a woman does this kind of crap, you are not there to have a conversation. You are no longer obligated to speak to her anymore. In fact, a lot of the times where if you're a dude and you're in a relationship and the girl cheats on you, just cut it off immediately and never talk to her again. Right? Don't, because what you're doing is like, I'm not really too sure what language to use here, but you're essentially poisoning yourself by continuing to talk to these people. You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing productive by yourself by continuing to talk to people who disrespect you and treat you like crap. Right? A lot of guys want to stick around and kind of talk it out and stuff like that, and a lot of times women will use your own emotions against you. Right? Whether that be from earlier in the relationship or now, if you've just discovered she's cheated and stuff like that, gentlemen, where a lot of the stuff that you divulge as a man will be used against you in the future. Okay? But let's continue onwards before we continue on to today's next Reddit story. Honestly, I would leave. It sounds like this relationship is toxic. I have been there. Leave. One time cheating is unacceptable, but 3 times you deserve to be happy. The kids deserve to see their dad happy. I'm sorry you're going through this. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, first, do not leave the house. This will give her unfair advantage with any court dealings. They can claim abandonment, and they probably will, if he does, excuse me. Second, make sure, and I mean any and all conversations are recorded. Again, check local laws. You may have to inform her, or you have a witness. Do not think for a minute she won't accuse you of misconduct to gain an edge in divorce. Now you have to react quickly and decisively. This is the 3rd time you have caught her. I bet there have been other times. You need to contact a lawyer ASAP to get your options on the table. Depending on where you live, some areas require a waiting period before finalizing any divorce. I suggest 2 sets of paperwork. First set is divorce papers, including all clauses recommended by your lawyer. Now the second set, since you have a history of forgiving your wife and she may insist on reconciliation, not to mention it may be necessary to protect your assets. Have the lawyer produce a second set of reconciliation papers that includes clauses that state any further infidelity that is discovered will allow you to file an uncontested divorce, dissolve any claims she may have on your retirement or alimony, and guarantees you 50-50 custody. Let the lawyer let the lawyer guide you on what you can ask for. The second set is a long game strategy. It puts protection in place if and when she repeats this behavior. I hope everything works out for you. Just reading this sentence kind of makes me feel a bit sick, doesn't it, guys? Like, if you read this sentence right here, dissolve any claim she may have on your retirement or alimony. Right? It's like the fact that women can claim this crap from you even after such horrendous actions is so mind blowing to me, man. Where again, just thinking back to the first TikTok that we talked about on today's show, it is the second in the 3 TikToks, I believe, where the woman was complaining about taking the last name. It's like when I look back on that, gentleman, I really don't care. You know what I mean? And here's the thing: you don't have to get married if you don't want to, right? These girls out here saying, "Oh, I'm not going to get married. It's so unfair that I have to take a last name, and it's so oppressive for me. And it's obviously you're just making women into property, and whatever the case may be." And it's like, okay, fine, don't get married. You know what I mean? A lot of men have no interest in marrying you anyway. I mean, gentlemen, these women who get to 30, 40, and 50 and stuff like that, and they start saying, "Oh, I'm not going to get married unless men step up, or men change this, or this change, or that changes." I just laugh to myself. I'm like, okay, you're running out of time. So you can continue to make demands if you want to, but they're not going to serve you very well. Right? And a lot of the funny part is, guys, a lot of these women who complain about, "Oh, I need this change to be made, I need that change to be made." If you put these women in relationships, it's like they're going to view everything like this. Right? They're always going to be the victim in this situation. There's always going to be something that needs to change for them, or else they don't like the relationship. oh, they'll come up with arguments literally out of nothing because they feel as though the power dynamic is screwed and it's not 50-50 and relationships are supposed to be 50-50. And mind you, I just want to bring up the point as well. How many of these women talking about 50-50 relationships and 50-50 marriages and I'm not taking a dude's last name? Okay, how many of these women do you think are out here paying for dates? Right? How many of these women out here do you think are actually doing things for men? I would guess not a whole lot. Right? I sincerely doubt that these women complaining about the state of marriage for women are taking dudes on dates and paying and showing chivalry. It's like, okay, you want 50-50 in relationships. How about how about you show you know, some sense of humility? How about you buy me the dates? You know, how about you buy me that expensive food, or you take me here, or give me this experience, or how about if you want equality in relationships? How about you date a guy who's actually your height? Right? Women, this is another lie that women will say, gentlemen, is like, oh yeah, I don't mind how tall a guy is. I don't mind how handsome a guy is. It's like, okay, fine, date someone on your level, right? You don't go to the gym, you eat junk food. Okay, date a guy who doesn't go to the gym and eats junk food, right? But you see, women don't want their equal guys. They only want their equal when it suits them, right? They want, oh yeah, I want a guy to meet me halfway up the aisle, and I want a guy to do this for me. I want a guy to do that for me. But everything else, oh yeah, he has to be better than her in. Right, a lot of these women guys, they choose men who are smarter than them, they choose men who are taller than them, more attractive than them, put more effort into their jobs, into their physique and stuff like that, and then they want to complain about equality as though they aren't already getting well above and beyond what they actually deserve. But guys, let's continue into today's next Reddit story and see what we've got here as the page loads up. So let's have a look at this one. This is a pretty interesting one. And this one is from 12 hours ago. The title is Girlfriend is upset about lack of engagement and steps towards a ring. Says she would consider dating others. So I'm 32 and she is 34. We have been together for almost 2 years and she's been talking about engagement for the last 6 months. I've told her that I was interested in going through with it, but haven't made any steps in that direction yet. Basically, because I'm nervous that we're going to be a terrible couple because we're constantly getting in verbal disagreements that take forever to resolve. I thought some time to work on the relationship would be best before we get into such a commitment. We don't live together, though we live very close. Now she's talking about how she's worried about her biological clock, etc., and she had even considered exploring dates with others. Upon hearing that last part, I'm pretty taken aback and I'm pretty certain that's a sign I should be ending this. I just want to run this by some people to get some feedback if I'm being too rash or if I'm feeling appropriately. Thanks for reading. Guys, I've said this before on the channel, but a lot of these women, man, they know that they're running out of time, right? A lot of girls will rush marriages, they will rush relationships and kids and stuff like that, not because they like the guy, not because they're interested in the guy, but because they realize that they're running out of time. I really want to highlight this part right here so you guys kind of understand what I'm getting at here. This part right here. She's talking about how she's worrying about her biological clock, etc. You see what I'm saying, gentlemen? Where women know perfectly well what they're doing. They're wasting their 20s, right? They're wasting their youth going after the bad boys, and then they turn around. And let's take a look at this, okay? This woman is 34 years old, and they've been in a relationship for 2 years. I dare say, and this is just speculation, I dare say that she was probably seeing men into a fair bit into that relationship, and she definitely has orbiters still going, right? But this woman has essentially waited until she is over 30 to try and rush out of marriage. Right, and here's the thing: if you're a guy in this situation, one, hell no to marriage, and two, it's like these women make mistakes with their lives, and then they want you to come and save them right before. Here's the thing, okay? A lot of these girls know the point at which they're going to become very unattractive. You see what I'm saying? Right, a lot of these girls know that, okay, give me 18 more months and I'm going to look terrible because I know my eating patterns are terrible. I don't go to the gym. I still go out to the weekend every fortnight. Every 2 weeks I'm still going out there, treating my body poorly. These girls literally know when their body is going to give up on them as well, and when they're going to look hell attractive and they can't get any more attention from men. Right? They know when that time's coming. So what they'll do is they'll try and cash out their chips real quick, secure the commitment from a guy who doesn't know any better, and then, hey, so what if they get a divorce in the future? She's still entitled to his crap and she's still entitled to his kids. And the fact of the matter is, guys, is that the law actually encourages this. right? Because women can do this without repercussion. It's not as if it's a difficult thing for them to do, guys. You can literally file for irreconcilable differences. And you want to talk about prenups and stuff like that, guys. Truth be told, a lot of these things are not too effective. Men are out here getting screwed over so much. And again, just a final time, I'll harp on the fact that the woman at the beginning of the video was complaining about the fact that she has to take a dude's name. Men are literally out here spending their entire. I really want to emphasize this, guys. Men are out here spending their entire lives on relationships where the women will just throw it away. Right? And guess what? They're throwing it away for money and they get to keep the kids. And make no mistake, they don't even necessarily care about the kids, gentlemen. A lot of these women are straight up doing this, thinking that, okay, well, I'm just going to find a replacement father if I really need to, but otherwise I'm going to raise them as a single mother because I'm getting money from my man, from my ex-man. I can still go away and make these terrible decisions. And it's so gross to see, guys, how we as a society, they're apparently just accepting this crap and, pretending like it's nothing and encouraging these girls to talk about how they're so oppressed in marriage because they have to take a dude's last name. Right? I understand not everyone's probably going to agree with that point, guys. A lot of you are going to thinking, oh yeah, Taylor, it is a bit unfair that she has to take the last, the dude's last name and stuff like that, guys. But here's the thing: men have to bring a whole lot more to the table for a marriage to even exist. Right? You as a man, you have to make a lot of sacrifices for a marriage. And let me tell you something, guys. These sacrifices that you make as a man, really not worth it. Really, really not worth it, especially when girls rock around to 30. But let's see what some of these people have to say in this Reddit story. And don't forget to leave your comments and your thoughts as we've gone through these stories, guys. It's always interesting to see what you gentlemen have to say below. So let's continue and see what some people have to say. Going to be a terrible couple? You're a couple right now. Is your relationship terrible? The fact that you're both speaking like this probably means that it's over. If she wants marriage and children and you don't, let her go. That way she can find someone she can do those things with before it's too late for her. At 34, it is a real issue for women. Yeah, it is. Despite all the medical advances, female fertility does significantly decline with age. I say this as a woman whose clock started ticking at 31. And that right there, gentlemen, is something that, people can get mad about. These ladies out here can get real frustrated about, but it is a fact and it is going to continue to persist. Right, this is one of the really funny reasons, right? We cover a particular subreddit that you may or may not know. I'm not going to say its name and give it more attention. But we cover a subreddit on the show quite frequently, guys, because the content is just so good. They say just outrageous things over there. And we bring up stories, and one of the things that you'll notice from the women over on that subreddit is they will talk about how, men are addicted to certain kinds of content on the internet, and they shouldn't be watching this stuff because it's unhealthy, right? It's unhealthy, and granted it is, right? But here's the thing: the women are complaining about this stuff because they don't want the attention to go away from them. Right? They truly don't, guys. They want they want all the attention on them. And because a lot of these girls, they rocked it around to 30, they rock around to 40, and they go, oh, wait a minute, I need to bust out some kids real quick, or else I'm never going to be able to have them. So I'm going to need all the men's attention. You know what I'm saying? So, and these women get real upset when they start talking about certain kinds of content on the internet, saying that, oh, it's just real unhealthy for relationships and men shouldn't be looking at stuff like that. And make no mistake, guys, they're not saying that for dudes' health, or they're not saying that for the health of relationships. They're saying that because they don't want attention to go away from them, which I just find is something that's so incredibly hilarious. But let's continue. So yeah, despite all the medical advances, female fertility does significantly decline with age. I say this as a woman whose clock started ticking at 31. Agreed, I am 34 and fertility testing indicates that in another 2 or 3 years, I'll be unable to have biological children. Right, and gentlemen, I really want to hammer that home where these girls, like, they know that they're running out of time, so they will use men in order to make sure that this happens. Right, and a lot of guys don't really know this. That's where you wind up in situations, right, where dudes, they'll talk about their relationships and they'll say, I wonder if you guys can relate to this maybe as well in the comments, right? Where women will say, men will say, oh, the relationship was, so fantastic to begin with. She was so pleasant. She was feminine. She was lovely to me. She treated me right, all this kind of stuff, right? And then, after I committed to her, after we have kids, after the marriage happened, things got a hell of a lot worse, right? And that's because these women are straight up using men for these purposes, guys. You see what I'm saying? The whole relationship is about, based on the foundation of what she needed in that particular moment. Again, this is something that'll change over time. If you're a dude in a relationship, you'll notice that, a lot of people are breaking up, relationships are ending and stuff like that as the woman requires. So, she might need a dude for this time, or she might need a dude for that time. That's why girls will be out here in their 20s screwing about, wasting their entire lives. And then they'll turn around at 30 and want to pretend like they're enlightened and that they're these fantastic human beings, and now they see their worth and all that crap, guys. It's all just a manipulation game. Yeah, and that's a really sad thing to say, but let's continue onwards. Let's have a look down. If you're in your 30s and have been together for 2 years and you're still not sure about the relationship, just end it because it's clearly not right. Why tell her you want to go through with it when you're also worried you'll be a terrible couple? I mean, you are already a couple. A terrible one, question mark. You say, time to work on the relationship. Have you been? Both of you? What does that look like? What concrete steps have you taken? Or is it just a generic phrase you're throwing out there which is basically kicking the can down the road because you don't want to break up, but don't really want to commit either? Time to get off the pot doesn't mean marry her immediately. Does mean you need to have a serious conversation with her about your future, what that looks like, what changes you want or need made. Don't string her along. Don't wave this away. Excuse me. Don't hope it'll magically resolve itself. Nothing will change unless you make a change. Here's the thing, guys. I've always looked at situations like this as though if you're a dude and you're wanting something out of a relationship, okay, don't try and change these girls to. Truth be told, man, a lot of these girls who are out here partying and having their fun and quote unquote living their best life, man, it is not your responsibility to change and try and fix these girls. You see what I'm saying? I see like this huge push to try and, oh yeah, we're gonna fix things in a relationship, right? So what my girl cheated on me? So what my girl treated me like crap? If I'm a good guy, I'm gonna work through it. No, no, no. See, being a good guy is, at least in my opinion, guys, is having the self-respect to walk away from these situations. There's no fixing. There's no talking about how, hey, I think you need to change for this, guys. Like a lot of these women, guys, they're not gonna change. Like they really aren't, gentlemen. You've heard the saying before. You can't turn a 304 into a housewife and all that kind of stuff. Where like you as a guy, you can end up, sinking a lot of your time into these situations trying to make things better when the girls just have no interest in changing. Oftentimes, if you're a dude, it's better to just find someone who's not doing this kind of crap if you're interested in dating at all. Right, guys? Like this whole the idea of, oh yeah, I'm gonna change my partner. We're gonna have a sit down and discussion. We're really gonna change things. A lot of these girls aren't gonna change, man. Like truth be told, they're really not. The girls who are out here dating those dudes in their 20s, wasting their youth and all that crap. It's not as if they're gonna realize the error in their ways. Right? They pretend that they do. They pretend that they're looking for a real good man now. And the thing is, they're only looking for that good man for those things. Right, to get the ring, to get the kids, but they're still attracted to the bad boys. They're still going to run back to the bad boys. They're still imprinted by the dudes that they're actually attracted to. Gentlemen, in case you're new to this side of the internet, something that kind of gets tossed around, and something I might talk about a bit more in future episodes, is the fact that these women out here who get into these relationships with the bad boys and then go on to get the good guys, they're imprinted by the bad boys. They're still attached to their previous relationships. They don't love the new good guy who's doing everything for her. She's still attached to that guy that she saw years and years ago when she was 20, and she's still remembering the experiences with him, guys. Like, and to try and change that and go, oh, you know what, I'm going to make you into a wife is just outright ridiculous to me. But guys, we're going to be calling today's episode there. So as always, make sure you leave your thoughts and your comments below. Always interesting to see what you guys have to say. If you disagree with me, guys, feel free to do so. That is what the comment section is for. As always, if you are interested in supporting the show, make sure you check out the locals link in the description, guys. The first month over there is totally free on me with code Fiendish. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, guys, make sure you check that out. And I've just gotten back into recording videos, so I'll put up a few more over there in the coming days. So make sure you check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you boys in the next episode. Peace.